This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Immigration in the spotlight. Immigration Ministry in conflict on the Chinese. The ministry claims the Chinese nationals were legal, and the officer who headed the operation found otherwise. Former Prime Minister Dr. Jimenez says, retire Bell or I will bury him. And then there's BPL. The Prime Minister says the smell is rotten at BPL. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, July 27th, 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. Also this morning, later in business, we'll be talking about the Smart Pass app that Focal is launching. That's straight ahead, but first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, though, the immigration officer who headed the operation that led to the initial apprehension of a group of Chinese workers in January found that 3 of them who had passports were shown to be in the country illegally. The Ministry of Labor and Immigration claimed yesterday that the group was in the country legally, but at the same time acknowledged that the Chinese were working on the British colonial site without work permits. The January 18, 2023 report of the chief immigration officer, who was preparing to transport the 65 Chinese nationals from the British colonial, where they were found, to the detention center, stated that one of the individuals had overstayed approximately 9 months. Another overstayed approximately 4 months. The third individual, who had a Chinese passport, overstayed approximately 24 days. The remainder of the subjects could not produce any documents to prove their identity. The report has been in the public domain and published in the media since Tuesday without any authority refuting its authenticity. The Chinese nationals were all released after Minister of Immigration Keith Bell gave the directive, according to Director of Immigration Katura Ferguson, who wrote Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Labor and Immigration Cecilia Strawn on January 18, 2023 about Bell's directive, and expressed that it was, quote, very disconcerting when directives of this nature are continuously received. In what it called a detailed clarification on questions raised by the leader of the opposition on immigration matters, the Ministry of Labor and Immigration, in their statement yesterday, said, quote, regarding the issue involving the Chinese nationals, we confirm that the workers were in the country legally. Their employers were in the process of applying for their work permits. Well, in providing what he called detailed clarification to questions raised by the opposition on various immigration enforcement matters, Labor and Immigration Minister Keith Bell said yesterday that he did not know at the time he approved an individual's work permit that the person was being held at the Carmichael Road Detention Center. He said that the individual was reportedly approved for a permit while, the ministry is saying this now, that the work permit was, the person was being held while the work permit was being approved, and they can, quote, we can confirm that at the time the decision was made, no information regarding the arrest or deportation was on file or in the system. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Philip Davis promising a comprehensive review of the checks and balances regarding how immigration decisions are made in the country with a view to strengthening them, but Davis' statement did not directly address calls for Keith Bell's resignation. While suggesting that he has damning information on Immigration Minister Keith Bell, who continues to be mired in controversy, of course, former Prime Minister Dr. Minnis warning Prime Minister Davis that he will, quote, bury Bell if Davis doesn't fire him. Minnis said that Davis has a duty to protect the integrity of the office of the Prime Minister. He said, quote, the member for Carmichael, the minister responsible for immigration, I think he should do the honorable thing and resign. If not, the Prime Minister has no choice but to retire that member. It's easier if the member recognizes that he too has a responsibility to protect the office of the Prime Minister and his colleagues, and he should do the honorable thing and resign. In the absence of that, the Prime Minister has a responsibility to move such a member. If the Prime Minister refuses to do his job, then it goes up to the latter. Cabinet has responsibility. Minnis promising that he's going to speak in Parliament, which would be today, and he urged the member to resign before today, or, quote, the Prime Minister has a responsibility to dismiss the member, or tomorrow I will bury the member. Minnis recommended that Davis call a former Prime Minister for advice if he's unsure what he should do in this situation. And Strategic Property Holdings, the owner of the British Colonial Hotel, expressing its grave concern regarding what it claimed were unfounded accusations made concerning the immigration status of its workers at the British Colonial. The company saying, quote, we denounce these slanderous allegations and are deeply shocked by such claims. We unequivocally affirm that all our workers at the British Colonial Hotel operate under a heads of agreement for the British Colonial renovations, and we are in compliance with all applicable Bahamian law. That statement was circulated even as the Ministry of Labor and Immigration acknowledged that a large group of Chinese workers who were working in the British Colonial did not have work permits when found in January. Prime Minister Davis charging that something is rotten at Bahamas Power and Light, and indicated that BPL and the Bahamian people lost out in the company's deal for Wärtsilä engines. The Prime Minister saying that these engines never worked properly. Davis' statement coming in response to former Prime Minister Dr. Minnis' claim once again that the actions of the Davis administration are directly responsible for the higher power bills many consumers of the state-owned utility are seeing now. Overseas, people in Niger are waking up to a divided country today after mutinous soldiers claim to have ousted the president. But the government said it will never accept their rule and has called for the population to reject it. The Foreign Affairs Ministry telling Network France 24 in an interview today that, quote, there was an attempted coup, but of course we cannot accept it. We call on all Nigerian democratic patriots to stand up as one to say no to this factious action that tends to set us back decades and block the progress of our country. The minister also calling for the president's unconditional release and said talks were ongoing. The president was elected in 2021, Mohamed Bazoum, in the West African nation's first peaceful democratic transfer of power since its independence from France in 1960. He thwarted a coup attempt days before he was sworn in. Threats to his leadership undermine the West's efforts to stabilize the area, which has been overrun with coups in recent years. Mali and Burkina Faso have had 4 coups since 2020, and both are being overrun by extremists linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group. The United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken visited Niger in March, seeking to strengthen ties with a country where extremists have carried out attacks on civilians and military personnel, but the overall security situation was not as dire as in neighboring nations. On Wednesday morning, members of the Presidential Guard surrounded the house of Bazoum with his wife and inside and detained him. The mutinous soldiers, who call themselves the National Council for the Safeguarding of the Country, took to state television and announced that they had seized control because of the deteriorating security and bad economic and social governance of the nation's 25 million people. In sports, the Bahamas senior swim team at the World Aquatics Championships had the day off Tuesday in Japan, but we're back in action Wednesday. All four swimmers in the pool competing in the 4x100 meters mixed relay, the mixed medley relay. And like he's been doing all season, leadoff swimmer Lamar Taylor set a new national record in his event. He saw the 100-meter back portion of the race. Taylor swam a blistering 55.03 seconds to obliterate his previous national record of 56.47, which he set at the Bahamas Aquatics Federation National Swimming Championships back in June. Renishka Gibbs jumped into the pool to swim the breaststroke leg. Also on the relay team, Azalea Elizabeth Thompson and Devontae Carey, the quartet swimming out of lane 7 in the third heat, clocking 4:03.98. South Korea won the heat with a time of 3.4709. Overall, the Bahamas finished with the 24th fastest time out of 42 countries. In volleyball, the 18th Caribbean Zonal Volleyball Association Senior Caribbean Volleyball Championships continuing this week, and both teams from the Bahamas playing their final group stage match. The Bahamas' men lost to Jamaica in 5 sets. They now have a 2-1 win-loss record in the tournament and will have to play out of the quarterfinals to have a chance to move on in the tournament. The Bahamas, Jamaica, and Trinidad and Tobago finished with identical 2-1 records in Pool B. Meanwhile, the women fell in straight sets to Barbados, and they are now 1-2 going into their final group stage match today. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got a mid to upper level low pressure system combined with troughing near the northern islands. That's going to continue to produce a wet weather pattern over the northwest and central Bahamas. Boaters should be alert as there's a threat of waterspouts and funnel cloud activity. Expect flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas during heavy and prolonged rainfall events. We're seeing that already. And beachgoers should exercise caution as there's a moderate risk of rip currents along East Coast beaches in the central and southeastern islands. No heat advisories or heat index advisories today as a result of all the rain we're seeing, so we get a break. For all areas, a look for partly cloudy conditions with occasionally overcast periods, breezy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms today. Some showers could become heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Expect variably cloudy and breezy conditions with isolated showers and thunderstorms tonight. Smallcraft caution remains in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas. Smallcraft caution will come to effect for the northwest Bahamas tonight. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots today, increasing to 15 to 20 knots tonight in the northwest Bahamas, 15 to 25 knots in the central and southeastern islands. Seas 2 to 4 feet, but building up to 4 to 6 feet in the northwest Bahamas, up to 4 to 6 in the central and southeastern islands as well. Temperatures today getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and a look at the tropics coming up after traffic in just a bit. Your first look at weather brought to you by Nescafe Coffee. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold. It's time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories. A lot to get to. right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
Tired of paying too many bills and loan payments each month?
Shrink your monthly debt payments down to one easy payment with our debt consolidation loan.
It also has a built-in savings that pays you 5% interest.
Inquire about our debt consolidation loans today.
Call 356-7764.
What do you want in your next car? Whether you're looking for luxury or just a reliable ride to get you where you need to be, the NUA Auto Show has everything you need to seal the deal. This Saturday, July 29th at NUA Insurance in the shops of the Southwest, Carmichael Road. Browse Nassau's leading auto dealers. Get an instant insurance quote from NUA and secure financing from Scotiabank all in one place. Make it a family affair at the NUA Auto Show this Saturday at NUA Insurance, Carmichael Road. Just look out for our flags. See you there.
A lot of folks are wondering, what is the Agrarian Awards? It's an award show to celebrate the people who produce the food that feeds the country. So September 16th, we're giving out trophies and money to young farmers, backyard farmers, sheep runners, goat herders, pea pickers, onion planters, basically everyone. But we couldn't fit all that on the invite, so we put Agrarian Awards instead. Go to adobahamas.org to find out how to nominate your favorite agrarian. The Agrarian Awards, September 16th.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Laverne Gardner. Laverne, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Great to have you with us. Missed you last week.
Good to be here.
Wonderful. A lot going on, a lot to talk about.
Yeah. More questions than answers, Dwight.
More questions than answers. Yeah. It's just the more they talk, the more we're confused, and the more like, oh boy, what's really going on here? So this is what we're in for. But anyway, we'll get to that this morning, and then later in business, we're going to talk with Focal about their new Smart Pass app. Going to make things a lot easier when you're at the pump. We'll get the details about that. All right, so as you said, there's a lot happening, immigration matters. Let's begin with what's in the news. All right, so before we get into all that, because that's going to take us for quite a big portion of the show when we get into the immigration, all the statements that were made, lots and lots of statements. Oh, boy. Just a couple of the quick stories in the news. So this is really, really interesting, this headline. PM, the smell is rotten at BPL. Okay. So this came after former Prime Minister Hubert Minnis chastised the government for the high electricity bills, blaming them for it, saying that it's because they didn't do the fuel hedging, leave it in place of the F&M had in place. This is the reason why we're paying so much now for electricity here in New Providence and other parts of the country. Most of your bill is the fuel surcharge as opposed to your consumption, right? So this is what Minnis was saying. Bahamians are seeing what amounts to a Davis PLP tax on their bills. If the F&M process was left in place, the bills would not be this high. Why are our electricity bills going up while the cost of oil continues to go down? It is because, in my opinion, of the reckless, irresponsible mistakes made by the government. I want Bahamian people to listen to me carefully. Light bills are not just going up because it's summer. Bahamians are paying more because the PLP did not execute a program we had in place to buy oil cheaper and keep light bills lower. So it was at that point that Prime Minister Davis got up and said, quote, "The unfortunate state of affairs is that the state of BPL today lies directly at the feet of the previous F&M administration. They started off with the Wärtsilä plant. The engines are not working." Well, that's not... They've never worked properly. I'll be bringing in due course, because of the constant refrain that the state of BPL is a result of what we are doing. I don't like looking backward. I don't, but I have to in this instance because there's a lot of smoke that surrounds that transaction with the Wärtsilä engines. They're not working. In fact, we want to understand why. I will bring the documents as well, and I want to understand why I was presented that those engines were tri-fuel. If you look on BPL's website now, it is saying tri-fuel, and we were understanding in the last week when we were doing things to correct what's going on that it is not, which throws back the plans that we had in place. Okay, so everybody's lying and lying and lying all over this country. Just 2 days ago, we had the CEO of BPL. I asked him directly about the Wärtsilä engines. You remember what he said, folks? They have 7 and 5 are working right now, are operational. So what is going on here? And the 7 could be, but they just use 5 all the time. I'm paraphrasing a lot there, but because we said, what's going on? Why are we still seeing outages? Didn't you all bring in these Wärtsilä engines? He said they're working, and they are operational. So what's this?
He misspoke.
Which one? Who misspoke?
I'm just leaving it like that.
There's too much misspeaking.
Yes.
That's all anybody seems to do. He said they work. He said they are working. So what's the Prime Minister talking about? Anything to blame anybody else for the foolishness going on.
That would be an accurate observation. That is an accurate observation.
The Prime Minister said, quote, "I will in due course point to where it is, and let me tell you, the smell is rotten." The smell is rotten. Oh, yes, indeed, Prime Minister, the smell is very rotten, and it's not just BPL, it's the entire country. Very, very rotten. So what's going on? This is ridiculous now. And in any event, 2/3 of my bill is for fuel. Still. Okay. So that's the type of nonsense going on in the House of Assembly. There's a crime story I really want to get to very quickly, and then we'll get to immigration. But folks, call in if you listened to that interview and you heard about that. What is the Prime Minister talking about? Are there different Wärtsilä engines? Is it a different Wärtsilä? Or is it 2 different types of Wärtsilä? They just went out since Tuesday?
Yeah, maybe,
okay.
Maybe.
All right. Well, that wouldn't account for my 2 bills being $100 to $200 more than they were a year ago. So what's that about? Boy, let's take this call really quickly, and then we want to get to that crime story, and then we've got to get to all the immigration nonsense happening. And you can call in 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259, toll free 242-300-5720. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you?
Doing well-ish.
And good morning to Laverne.
Good morning.
Wonderfully, Dwight.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, see, Dwight, this second year, 50 year, Dwight, we got to call it what it is. When you had BPL on there the other day, remember, I called you and I said, Dwight, I really wasn't listening to what them people were saying because we done had 50 years of that.
Mm.
And then I made reference to, he mentioned that the people involved are Foucault and Shell West.
Yeah.
Right? Let me tell you something, yeah? The Bahamians really need to wake up. You understand me? Because like you say, the man say, those were Scylla engines. We remember the trouble them engines caused moving 5 miles an hour down the road. Most people go 10 months trying to get where they was going.
I don't think it even made 5. It was slower than that.
Thank you very kindly. Those engines are brand spanking new. When you buy a brand spanking new car, right, what do you get that comes with that car?
A warranty?
A warranty, Dwight. I am sure those Wärtsilä engines came with warranty. So I agree with you 110,000%. What in the hell is the Prime Minister speaking about? Those engines are brand spanking new. Those things are good for like 30, 40 years. What are you talking about? And he's right. There's something stink about BPL. He's quite correct. My Grammy say, fish stinks from the head. He's the head. Thanks for taking my call, Dwight.
Yeah. Yeah. So, if you read the rest of the story, you got to pick up today's NASA Guardian to read the rest of the story. Minnis is not backing down, challenging the Prime Minister on it. Bring the log. Show us where these things aren't working. Because it's just not making sense. It really, really, really isn't. All right. This story, and this is a cautionary tale to people, everybody out there. All right. So, the man who received car stolen from police compound gets sentence of 4 months. Our Artesia Davis writing about it. A man who received a car that was stolen from the police compound jailed for 4 months. Gerald Mackey pleaded guilty to receiving a white Nissan Cube that was being kept at the Criminal Investigation Department on University Drive when he appeared before Senior Magistrate Carolyn Vogt Evans. The vehicle had been reported stolen by its owner. When police recovered the car, they didn't return it to her immediately because it appeared that the chassis numbers had been altered. During the period that the car was impounded, the car was removed from the parking lot. Now, Mackey told police that he had been asked to drive the car home. He said that he was told to wait at the gas station next door while the car was retrieved. Well, okay. Mackey was also ordered to pay $480 in restitution to the vehicle's owner in order to avoid serving a consecutive sentence of 3 months on a charge of causing damage. Mackey's co-accused, Philano Williams, pleaded not guilty to stealing, receiving, causing damage, and trespassing. He was granted bail and is scheduled to return to court on October 16th for his trial. Assistant Superintendent of Police Claudette Mackenzie Lewis was the prosecutor. All right, so this is just a case of people being stupid. But that happens a lot around here. A lot. So, I mean, it's probably too short a sentence, to tell you the truth. But, yeah, crazy stuff. All right, so let's get to immigration. And there were so many stories. So Keith Bell spoke. The Prime Minister issued a statement, lots of words. And the one that got everyone's attention yesterday was the Immigration Ministry. Their statement, very long, and as you said earlier, Laverne, raising more questions than answers. All right.
Absolutely, 100%.
So let's read the statement directly. So this was issued yesterday.
All of it? It's pretty long. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, boy. All right. Press statement from the Ministry of Labor and Immigration on the detailed clarification on questions raised by the leader of the opposition on immigration matters. Mm-hmm. The Ministry of Labor and Immigration wishes to address the concerns and questions recently raised by the leader of the opposition regarding various immigration matters. In the interest of protecting individual privacy and preventing potential liabilities, specific names will not be disclosed. We caution those who've put individual names into the public domain that breaches of rights to privacy may give rise to legal liability. Each immigration case is unique and handled on a case-by-case basis, taking into consideration the specific circumstances and information available at the time. Firstly, a case was raised regarding a work permit that had expired, which led to an arrest and detention. We want to clarify that the arrest and detention report was uploaded on the same day the renewal application was enrolled. Despite the outstanding fees, the renewal was approved. Factors which were taken into consideration included the individual's long-term residence in the Bahamas. The impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, and the lack of salary during the period of the pandemic. The discretion was exercised in line with practices of previous administrations under similar circumstances. In a second case, an individual was reportedly approved for a permit while detained at the detention center. We can confirm that at the time the decision was made, no information regarding the arrest or deportation was on file or in the system. Consequently, the minister granted the approval without any contradictory information that might have otherwise affected the decision. So he didn't know that the person was at the detention center. Okay.
Nothing was in the system.
Right.
So we're just not going to touch the first one.
Well, other administrations did it. So, well.
Is that how long is that excuse? How long is that excuse going to be used?
Long after we have sunk to the bottom of the ocean.
When clearly something was wrong. The reasoning is always the same. Oh, they did it.
Yes.
Wrong is still wrong, no matter if 150,000 people do it.
No, not really.
It does not change. It doesn't change the fact that it is wrong.
No.
But I mean,
then it becomes the norm. So it can't be wrong if it's
still
the norm.
Wrong.
Oh, well.
And,
so you say. So you say.
So anyway, so now we know that we have a precedent that if for some reason a business owner has a foreign worker on permit, they can still get the permit approved even if they have outstanding fees.
Especially if they've been here a long time and if there is a pandemic and if the person was, they couldn't pay the fees because they had no salary during the pandemic. So you have to be, come on, have a heart.
Does that just apply to a work permit? Does that not apply like across the board when we have, the VAT unit going after people and whatnot and so forth for other outstanding bills who businesses were impacted by the pandemic and they could not pay, but now they can't get a letter to continue to conduct business because does that also apply? Do they also look and say, well, you've been in business for so,
To be fair, that those excuses, they were factored into a lot of ththings during the pandemic. Yeah. So
that applies to the average Bahamian business person as well. Is that just the immigrants?
Or during the pandemic, those were acceptable.
This wasn't during the pandemic.
Well, that's what they're saying. That's what they're trying to suggest.
It doesn't. It seems.
It does not tell you the time specifically, but it's suggesting that it was. Yeah. So, if that's the case, now if it happened last month, okay, now look, but it sounds like it was. So, okay, the second one
number
is
3. I'm sorry, I think you're on 3.
First one, second one, a little okay. I don't know. Third one, the third case mentioned involved an individual intercepted on a boat attempting to smuggle into the USA. Already, we're off on the wrong foot. The individual was charged, convicted, and restricted. The Ministry of Labor and Immigration would like to clarify that this individual's work permit was denied 3 times and was never approved. Oh, okay. So that person never, okay. In the 4th case, contrary to claims, the applicant was never detained. In fact, the individual held valid permits from 2015, renewed annually, and valid until 2023. The 5th case involved an arrest for overstaying, which subsequently led to deportation. Despite the allegations, there was no arrest or detainee report on file or within our system for this individual. In the case raised involving a permit to reside, despite claims that there was an approval after a conviction for overstaying and scheduled deportation, we found no document on file or within the system to indicate that this individual was convicted in court. On a more general note, several concerns were raised about the approval process for permits. It is important to note that current practice of the Department of Immigration does not require employers to submit financial information. Therefore, it is challenging to accurately determine employers' ability to sustain employment. Okay, so why don't you make it a requirement? Isn't that what we've been saying? Make it a requirement and proof of housing for the person. We've been saying that for years, right? So that we don't end up with a bunch of people living in the bush. Anyway, let me continue to read the statement. Therefore, it's challenging to accurately determine employers' ability to sustain employment. That's very foolish. In respect to the claim that approvals were granted without interviews being conducted or supported by proper documentation, we consider that instances of such cases are highly unlikely, given the stringent checks and balances in place. However, we urge the Leader of the Opposition to provide specific instances for further investigation. Let me read this again. In respect of the claim that approvals were granted without interviews being conducted or supported by proper documentation, we consider that instances of such cases are highly unlikely given the stringent checks and balances in place. What stringent checks and balances? You just said you can't determine whether the employer can pay the people. Am I reading it wrong?
Right.
What?
Okay.
The approval of applications made while an applicant is detained at the detention center is not illegal. There have been many occasions when individuals have been arrested while an application for approval is pending. In respect of the claim that approvals have been granted to employers who, after investigation, stated that they did not submit the application, our records confirm that there have been incidents where work permits were approved without consultation with the director or minister. What? Upon receiving complaints from employers, these matters have been promptly addressed. Okay. In respect of the claim that multiple work permits have been issued to individuals deemed as facilitators, our administration has been working diligently to curb this activity. We continue to monitor and take the necessary action. It is open to everyone to report wrongdoing wherever found, and so the Leader of the Opposition is welcome to provide any evidence he has of instances where approvals have been granted to unqualified applicants or employers. In situations where detainees were ordered to be released, we urge the Leader of the Opposition to provide specific examples. On the matter of citizenship, it is, well, I think we have one with the Chinese? Do we have that one? I mean, they are aware of that.
How much more specific do you need than that? Everybody can provide a specific. Okay, just continue. Wait, just continue.
Oh, boy. Okay. Regarding the issue involving the Chinese nationals, we confirm that the workers were in the country legally. Their employers were in the process of applying for their work permits.
So how did they get? I'm sorry.
No,
how did they
must be travel
get in the country?
Travel visas,
right?
Maybe they were visitors.
Okay. So immigration. There was no way that the Department of Immigration could have checked their system to say, okay, no, these people entered here legally. There's no way.
Apparently not. Their employers were in the process of applying for their work permits to avoid disruption to
So
them.
how they got here?
Mm-hmm.
How did they get in the country? Who processed them?
You're asking too many questions.
Which department other than immigration processed them? Because clearly they were not processed through the Department of Immigration, because then they would have record, they would have knowledge of them. And according to the letter that the Director of Immigration said, they did not know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And these people, only 3 of them had ID.
That's right. Maybe they were here for a sporting event. I don't know. They came in.
Dwight,
I have no idea.
The point is, if they were here on vacation, if they were here for medical reason, if they were here a sporting event, why didn't immigration know?
No clue. Let's read some more of this. To avoid disruption to the major ongoing construction project on which they were working, it was considered futile to detain them overnight. The issue was promptly corrected.
Were they working that night?
They had to get up early in the morning. What do you mean? You know how construction sites go. The issue was promptly corrected the following day to avoid disruption to the major ongoing construction project. But you do recall that immigration officials walked into a barbershop. I think those men were cutting hair and slapped the 2 employees. I don't think there was anybody left when they took them away. So they certainly disrupted that place. But I guess that doesn't matter because it's not a major tourism
project. It's not a major project.
Just,
right. It's not a major tourism project.
Who cares about small business? Right.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Uh-huh. Okay. Concerning the questions put by the former prime minister about a specific citizenship application, we clarify that at the time in question, the minister was, in fact, in Miami, not in Switzerland.
Oh, okay. Well, that solves everything. That answered all my questions.
Not in Switzerland.
Because on the list of questions, that was at the very top for me. Of saying that we clarified that he was not in Switzerland, that he was indeed in Miami. Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I don't know how you could mix the two up. But hey, not in Switzerland as previously stated in error. The questions which have not been answered directly by the above did not raise anything of substance. Well, so according to them, that's how.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
Okay. We remain committed to transparency.
No, we don't.
No. Due process and the rule of law in all immigration matters. We remain committed to maintaining an immigration system that is efficient and fair and respects the rights and dignity of all individuals. That has been the statement from the Ministry of Labor and Immigration on the detailed clarification and questions raised by the Leader of the Opposition on immigration matters. Wow. Oh, boy. Okay. All right. So after that, we got a statement from the Prime Minister, a press statement on the Department of Immigration. Now, he had promised, is that still coming? Full.
No, I doubt we're going to get a statement.
This was it.
Oh, that was it. Take that and run. I don't think there's going to be any other statement.
Okay, it's in blue ink. Let me read this one. This is shorter than the other one. First, let me say that public trust is in the enforcement of our immigration laws is not just important to me, but essential. I want to be absolutely clear about that. As you know, the opposition raised some questions in Parliament, and the Department of Immigration is releasing a statement to address those questions. It is my understanding that in many instances, the opposition's questions were based on wrong and inaccurate information. As an important aside, I want everyone to understand that when civil servants share the names and personal details of individuals from files in the custody of their department, they are in violation of the law, and they have breached the public trust. People who share their private information with the government of the Bahamas in departments across our ministries should be able to do so with confidence that they will not find their names being shouted at press conferences or thrown around to score political points. Let's return at this moment to immigration. It is fundamentally important that Bahamians have confidence that every immigration matter is handled fairly, in accordance with the law, and in the best interest of the Bahamas and the Bahamian people. There has always been a substantial amount of ministerial discretion in the enforcement of immigration laws in our country and in other countries in the Westminster system. There are practical reasons for that, including the need for flexibility to respond to unique or complex situations and the need to respond to new and changing circumstances without requiring constant legislative changes. And, of course, that discretion operates within a system of checks and balances to promote fairness and due process. But just because a system has always operated a particular way doesn't mean it can't be strengthened or improved. As you've heard me say on many occasions, I didn't come here to defend the status quo. I came here to change it. When there are ways to improve governance, we're going to modernize the system instead of maintaining it. You saw that earlier today with the historic introduction of legislation to make our parliament an independent branch of government, which will increase accountability and strengthen the representation of the people. I've had a lot of conversations with the Bahamians in recent weeks about immigration, and I want to let you know that I hear you, I hear your concerns about how things work in the country, and intend to address them. I am announcing today that we will undertake a comprehensive review of the checks and balances regarding how immigration decisions are made, with a view to strengthening them. Every Bahamian deserves to have confidence that the rules promote efficiency, fairness, and accountability to the greatest extent possible. All right, so again, that's the end of the statement there. So when he tweeted a couple of days ago, quote, "A number of concerns have been raised with respect to several immigration enforcement matters. We take such concerns seriously. Bahamians deserve the facts. We're working to pull together detailed answers to address these concerns and look forward to releasing those in short order." So that was it. That's all we're going to get there, those two statements.
Right.
Okay.
We're going to just get those two statements. And quite frankly, the statement by the Prime Minister, didn't work for me. It really didn't work.
Well, it's just one.
So those are the two statements.
Just one line in
And the
that whole
only
thing.
thing that he really spoke specifically to was the releasing of personal information. That's what he really addressed. Everything else was just a very broad statement.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, there are still questions out there. We still really do not understand how this entire process with these 65 people who immigration attempted to detain. We don't get the full story. We get bits and pieces. We're gonna pretend. So are we also just gonna pretend like the statement, the letter that the director of immigration wrote that said, and the voice note that we heard that specifically said that this was happening by request of the acting prime minister.
Right.
We're going to pretend like...
And that he did not tell the NASA Guardian that he did not say that.
And then he denies that he said it. Mm-hmm. We're going to pretend like that didn't happen. We're not going to talk about that. We're not going to address that. Yeah. We're not going to address the fact that the Department of Immigration is saying we didn't have any records of these people. How did these people get into the country if their permit was being processed? How did they get in here? How did the Department of Immigration, where were their IDs? They could only identify 3 of them. No one else had ID. So we're not gonna speak to that. We're just gonna say a heads of agreement. So the heads of agreement then says that you can circumvent the process, the due process. You can circumvent, and not that we'll process these very quickly, but hey, we'll just circumvent the process. The heads of agreement trumped procedure and law. Yeah. We're just going to pretend like none of that happened. The former prime minister gave a laundry list of questions, and whether he is your favorite cup of tea or not, there were some relevant questions in there. And the only thing that you're going to address is the fact that, the minister was in Miami, not Switzerland. We still don't have details of this swearing in that took place, that everybody heard took place. we still cannot get proper details about that, about the application process for these people who were sworn in at the funeral, about how old the children were. Were they old enough to apply for citizenship? All of these things. But that's it. That's all that. We're not going to talk about any of that.
No.
Because as far as we're concerned, those two press releases, that's it. That puts everything to bed now.
As they said, some of the other things didn't really warrant a response. How did they put it? They did not raise anything of substance. But I think you hit the nail on the head, Laverne. They cannot run away from the director of immigration's letter, the leaked letter,
right?
And the correspondence, and the fact that Chester Cooper said he didn't authorize this.
Right. How do we get away from that?
Yeah,
you want to talk
serious.
about what the former? You want to talk about? You want to say that the questions that the former prime minister put forth, a lot of them didn't warrant a response.
Yeah.
You want to say that the opposition didn't have correct information. Some of their information was not correct.
Yeah.
But there is a letter from the director.
Madness.
We're not going to talk about that.
All right, we got to go to the news. Okay. We'll be back. You got all of your, see the calls, the phone lines are all lit up. Tons of text messages. We'll all of us need a little break during the news, and we'll catch ourselves and come back and talk about all of this. Stay with us.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
I'm Rita Foley with an AP News Minute. The White House says President Biden wants to help Americans wrestling with that unrelenting heat wave. The White House says officials are working on better weather forecasts and more accessible drinking water. Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says the president will reveal his plans today.
The president is also going to hear from FEMA Administrator Deanne Criswell and NOAA Administrator Dr. Rick Spanrod on the steps being taken on how to protect the millions of Americans being impacted by extreme heat across the country.
As you know, the heat's been especially brutal in the Southwest, and today the mayors of Phoenix, Arizona, and San Antonio, Texas, will join the president virtually, two of the cities that have been sweltering in the heat. An official appointed by Moscow in Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia region says Ukrainian forces tried this morning to break through Russian defenses in the area, but he says they pulled back after suffering significant losses. I'm Rita Foley.
We got some jokey leaders in a jokey town. A three-ring circus, what a bunch of clowns. They're joking and they're jiving, but they're messing around. We got some jokey leaders, what a bunch of clowns.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 4224796. Standard text rates apply. And now at 8:20, time for another check of your weather for today. Brought to you by NUA Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got a lot going on. We've got a mid to upper level low pressure system combined with troughing near the northern islands. That will continue to produce a wet weather pattern across the northwest and central Bahamas. Boaters should be alert for water spout activity or funnel cloud activity. Expect flooding in low-lying and flood-prone areas during heavy and or prolonged rainfall events. And beachgoers should exercise caution as there's a moderate risk of rip currents along East Coast beaches, especially in the central and southeastern Bahamas. For all areas today, forecast calls for partly cloudy conditions, occasionally overcast. Breezy with scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Some showers could become heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe at times. Expect variably cloudy and breezy conditions with isolated showers and thunderstorms tonight. Smoke-out caution in effect for the central and southeast Bahamas, and a caution will come into effect for the northwest Bahamas tonight. Temperature-wise, right now it's about 80 degrees with rain in some parts in New Providence. We're looking at highs getting up to only about 88 Fahrenheit, 31 Celsius. Won't see those triple-digit heat indices today as we're expecting another wet day. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. In your extended outlook, for the next couple of days, the mid to upper level disturbance will gradually shift across the northwest Bahamas and expected to continue to enhance shower activity across the area on Friday, then eventually move north of the Bahamas by Saturday, where there will be a decreased in shower activity and the return to those hot temperatures. So, for Friday, tomorrow, variably cloudy, warm and a bit breezy, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms across the northwestern islands, becoming partly sunny, hot, and breezy with isolated showers with thunderstorms in the central and southeast Bahamas. Saturday, mostly sunny and hot with the chance of a few isolated showers with thunderstorms, becoming fair and warm at night with a chance of isolated showers with thunderstorms. In the tropics, we've got a tropical wave a couple hundred miles to the southwest of the Cabo Verde Islands. Conditions are expected to be favorable for a gradual development of the system later this week, and a tropical depression could form over the weekend. Formation chance through 7 days is medium, right now about 40%. Elsewhere, tropical cyclone formation not expected through the next 7 days. That's your morning blend weather check brought to you by NUA Insurance. Carmichael in the shops of the Southwest this Saturday, July 29th. Come on down for a one-stop auto show featuring Nassau's leading auto dealerships, financing from Scotiabank, and tailored insurance options from NUA. Whether you're looking for a luxury car or just want a reliable ride to get you where you want to be or have to be, NUA Insurance Auto Show has everything you need to seal the deal this Saturday at NUA Carmichael. And it's time for a look at traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Get in gear with an RBC auto loan. It's wet out there, folks, and some streets are flooded, so keep that in mind as you make your way about. That's impacting some traffic in some areas like Independence Drive. Heavy traffic, westbound especially, as a good portion of Independence Drive near as you approach the roundabout with Blue Hill Road, that is flooded, and that's causing folks to do mainly single-lane traffic to get into the shallower lane. So that is backed up between the roundabouts, Blue Hill Road to East Street. If you can avoid it, do that. Independence Drive. Eastbound also busy for you heading toward East Street. Elsewhere, we've got Milo Butler Highway, heavy traffic about midway between Fire Trail and Tonic Williams Darling Highway if you're heading northbound. Gladstone Road is going to be a better alternate route for you. Just as you get near Munnings Road, you'll see that traffic northbound to JFK Drive. East Street is busy, especially northbound between Bamboo Boulevard and Soldier Road. You're going to be seeing a bit of congestion there. And we've got West Bay Street near Saunders Beach as you approach the New Providence Highway roundabout eastbound. A bit of congestion there. And on your way to Arawak. That's what we're seeing so far. Again, it's wet. Slow down. Watch out for the potholes and the flooded streets. That's your morning blend. Traffic brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up for an RBC auto loan. right, back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. All right, so we got to get back to the immigration situation because the owner of the British Colonial, they are just blown away by the accusations about their workers. It's hilarious. We'll get to that in a second. But I got to go back to the Prime Minister and BPL and his comments, very disturbing about Wärtsilä engines. We just spoke to Siobhan Cambridge's CEO just 2 days ago right here on the show. So we had to pull it up so you can hear what he said. The Prime Minister says these engines aren't working and they never worked. But listen to what was said right here, Morning Blend, not even 48 hours ago. Take a listen. We all had to learn how to pronounce Wärtsilä a couple of years ago. And we remember the big engines being paraded through the streets from the port to Clifton. And in a statement recently, we understand the contract with them has been terminated. Explain what happened there. And are any of these engines still in use? What exactly is going on?
Aside from the two that are currently still undergoing their maintenance in the maintenance cycle, which should be wrapped up by the end of this month, they're all able to be utilized. We're able to run like 5 of them at any given point in time.
They're able to be, or you are doing it?
No, we are running 5 at any given point in time. Mm-hmm. And so 5 are running right now as is in line with our dispatch schedule and our maintenance schedule. Mm-hmm. The contract, we still have a relationship with Wärtsilä. Wärtsilä is the engine manufacturer. They're the supplier of all of our spares and what have you. What was terminated was the operation and maintenance contract with Wärtsilä. Mm-hmm. But that was just taken over by BPL's in-house management, and that was taken over for some operational efficiency measures as well as for some economic reasons. Right. It just made more economic sense in terms of there was duplication of specific staffing resources, and it made no sense given our current financial challenges to be trying to operate 2 separate entities when we were better able to utilize the staff that we have across both plants.
Okay.
And especially considering the proximity, they're all in the same yard.
So the 5 Wärtsilä engines are still...
There's 7.
7.
But we run 5 at any given point in time.
Okay. Still in use.
Yes.
All right, so I didn't dream that, right? That's what was said. You heard that, Laverne? Am I having a hallucination right now? You heard what he said?
I think you misheard, Dwight.
What? You don't know. Let's not joke around. What did he say?
He said 5 are because he said be able, and you made him clarify.
Right, because what does be able mean?
There are 5 that are working at any given time. The other 2
right now
going through their
maintenance.
And by the end of the month, they'll be good to go. But that's
7 engines.
At any given point, they have 5 right now.
Working.
Available.
Working. So that's when Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Philip Brave Davis, says, quote, they started off with the Wärtsilä plant. The engines are not working. They've never worked properly. I will be bringing in due course because of this constant refrain that the state of BPL today is as a result of what we are doing. I don't like looking backward. I don't. But I have to in this instance because there's a lot of smoke that surrounds that transaction with the Wärtsilä engines. They are not working. In fact, we want to understand why. I will bring the documents as well. I want to understand why it was presented that those engines are whatever. All right. So what's happening here? What's the deal?
I don't know. Maybe we'll get a press release today.
This is madness, and they're playing with us. They're playing with us. The bills are outstanding. It's unbelievable. And they're playing with us. Boy, oh boy. They're working. So which Wärtsilä is this? Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get to see all of your text messages, and we know a lot of you were calling. We'll get back to all of this. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio. Aren't you tired? Tired? Everything is politics? Everything?
I said that from before we went on break, news break. I'm tired.
This is insane. We'll be back.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Get in gear with an RBC auto loan with up to 100% financing, extended repayment, and low interest rates. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up. Conditions apply.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
We're gonna give you a check every week for a year.
Percy's Pension Plan. Island Game, keep you winning. Percy's Pension Plan. Dream big, we will help you live it. Percy's Pension Plan. Island Game, we got you. Percy's Pension Plan. From the friends you can trust.
If winning is a must, come play the game you know, cause your best chance is with us. The most trustworthy name is Percy's Island Game. So put 20 on your account and ride this easy train at Percy's Island Game.
When faced with an illness like cancer, we band together, and we at Cleveland Clinic in Florida have your back. From advanced cancer treatments to extra safety measures at all of our locations, we're with you on this journey. For every infusion and follow-up, for every step of the way, for every care in the world. Cleveland Clinic in Florida. Get the care you need when and where you need it. To learn more or connect with a local representative, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
The Bahamas Public Parks and Public Beaches Authority invites all private companies and civic organizations to adopt a roundabout. This is your chance to stand out from the crowd, beautify and enhance our local areas for residents and tourists alike, just in time for the 50th anniversary of our independence. With this opportunity, you can engage persons on the go, generate media interest, and promote your company. Stand out and celebrate 50. For more information, you can call 242-604-3750.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
What do you want in your next car? Whether you're looking for luxury or just a reliable ride to get you where you need to be, the NUA Auto Show has everything you need to seal the deal. This Saturday, July 29th at NUA Insurance in the shops of the Southwest, Carmichael Road. Browse Nassau's leading auto dealers. Get an instant insurance quote from NUA and secure financing from Scotiabank all in one place. Make it a family affair at the NUA Auto Show this Saturday at NUA Insurance, Carmichael Road. Just look out for our flags. See you there.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you're going to invest in an exotic pet, choose anything but a Norwegian forest cat. Apparently, they will eat all your jewelry. Before you know it, you're racing to the vet when your cat escapes from his carrier and lunges for your earrings. You crash and your cat swallows your pearls. But if you're smart, you'll have CG Motor Insurance and get the best comprehensive coverage for the price.
Get the best comprehensive coverage for the price. CG Atlantic Insurance Agents and Brokers. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4. There's a new electric vehicle in town, the Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
Total Auto Care on Howard Road offers fast, quality auto maintenance at the very best prices. Tune-ups, oil changes, brakes, suspension, wheel alignments, radiators, water pump replacements, and more. Need quality brand name tires for your vehicle? Tires that'll stand up to these roads? No worries. We supply Michelin, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Pirelli, and Toyo. We'll import them fast and install them for you at no extra cost. So when your car needs maintenance or quality tires, we're on Howard Road, just before Burger King. Come see us. Total Auto Care. Call us at 341-6599 or 341-2350.
Summer your way with Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotia Plan loan this summer and open the doors to your dream destination, the perfect home renovation, or prep for back to school, and so much more. Enjoy competitive rates, flexible loan terms, and no payments for up to 2 months. Use your plan loan to unlock your perfect summer break. Apply for your Scotia Plan loan today and have summer your way with Scotiabank. Visit bs.scotiabank.com or call 242-356-1697 for further details.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
When I'm walking down them rocky, narrow dirt roads with a basket of potatoes on my head. Oh, don't you worry, I come from down home. That's where the island folks bake their potato bread. They bake it down home, outside in the Dutch oven down home.
All right, we are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. Laverne getting lots of messages. People saying running, the engine's running doesn't mean that they're working properly. And I guess, somebody says that there's probably a cooling issue still. So we're going to hear all kinds of technical mumbo-jumbo about likely over the next few days as to why the differences in what's being said about stuff. And, So brace yourselves for that. Okay. Anyway, so let's get back to immigration. I know you have a lot to say. I'm going to get your calls in 323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. And remember, standard text rates apply. All right, so before we get to any of your calls and your messages, so this is also in the paper today. Our Candy Dane's writing about it. Strategic Property Holding, the company, the owner of the British Colonial Hotel, yesterday expressed its grave concern regarding what it claimed were unfounded accusations made concerning the immigration status of the workers at the British Colonial Hotel. The company said, quote, "We denounce these slanderous allegations and are deeply shocked by such claims. We unequivocally affirm that all of our workers at the British Colonial Hotel operate under a heads of agreement for the British Colonial renovations, and we are in compliance with all applicable Bahamian law." That statement circulated even as the Ministry of Labor and Immigration acknowledged that a large group of Chinese workers who were working at the British Colonial did not have work permits when found in January, though the ministry claimed permits were being processed. Despite the fact that the workers were working without permits, the ministry still claimed that the Chinese nationals were in the country legally, as we went through earlier. So the company outraged by these things that are being said because they would never operate outside the law. So get it right. Okay, let's go to the phone lines and we'll get.
I don't know because I don't know what I'm supposed to say.
Just
hear
it.
Of course, everybody's in compliance now.
Yeah, man. Mm-hmm. When it counts.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Hold on, man, Dwight. I confused, man. First of all, I confused.
Which part?
With 100 questions that Laverne asking now, because it started with 10, but now Laverne got 100 questions.
Mm-hmm.
And now the company, how they get in our business? That's the first thing, right? Second of all, by
They're
their
just
own
responding. They have a good, decent reputation. They don't want y'all to think that they would try to circumvent our laws. No, don't do
But
them
Dwight,
like
by
that.
their own admission,
Not them.
they said they was working on the work permits.
They
By
didn't
their
say that.
own admission, right?
No, they didn't say that. The government officials said that. Mm-hmm.
But the work permits, they said we working on the work permits.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, if they landed here legally, right, then who bring them? The government should know who bring what airline or what ship bring them. And the fact that they did the work permits, immigration should know about their work permits. Right, okay. Second of all, if they was here legally and they go in a hotel that's closed, and they supposed to be paying taxes for each one of them rooms, and NIB, we could go to NIB and find out these people were paying their NIB contributions. You understand? And what scope of work these people were doing that Bahamians possibly could not do. Because if I remember correctly, the Hilton Hotel was renovated twice. And the last time it was renovated, Dwight, you remember, because the Junkanoo groups got a lot of the over styrofoams that they didn't use. Because they used a lot of the styrofoams on the outside of the building to put that pretty color and the finish on there. So I don't know what kind of work these people could have been doing.
Well, as we've been reminded, under these heads of agreement, the companies are allowed to bring in a number of foreign workers. So
okay, Dwight, fine.
Their rights.
Fine, right? Okay, 65 workers came in, right? So what was the percentage of Bahamians to the 65? What was the percentage? Because that is also supposed to be in the heads of agreement. That the foreign workers don't outnumber the Bahamian workers. Okay? Now, occupancy.
Don't hold your breath for an answer to that one.
Exactly. Now, occupancy. If the hotel is closed and they're doing major renovations in the hotel, then the department, the people down the road there, what Brave used to be head of, and he was the deputy prime minister, do they have proper occupancy to be staying in a hotel that need major renovation work? Because it could be dangerous and hazardous if they stay in somewhere that requires major renovation work. They shouldn't have been staying there. You understand? And if
some great
they was
questions.
legitimate, when did they leave? And what carried them?
It's pretty dangerous to be staying in the place you're working on. Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Well, that's
Press statement coming out tomorrow.
That's one way to save some money, though. Stay there while you, oh boy, and you won't be late. You won't be late to come to work. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And good morning, Laverne. Great
Good
show.
morning.
As usual. Dwight, let me start by what you said about just as insanity, right? The definition, as you were aware of, is, continue doing the same thing over and over and over, right?
And expecting a different result,
right?
as they
and
say.
expecting a different result, right? Doesn't that sound like the Bahamas?
Many have said.
Huh?
Many have said so.
Doesn't that sound like our leaders, right? Because you see, our prime minister said he didn't come to defend the status quo, right? But how do you defend the status quo? You know how you defend it? Here's how you defend the status quo. It's called tit for tat. When you see when somebody when the next government do something and a next one and then you have another one comes in and try to justify their action because of the other person doing something similar, that's defending the status quo. In my view, that is defending the status quo, and we will never see no difference in our governance because all of our administration we have seen up to date, they defend the status quo. And here's why we have this problem in this country, right? Now, when it comes to our immigration problem, right? there's so much problems inside immigration for our prime minister to be just trying to dumb it down as if it's just a bus ride going bad. Dwight, like I heard you said the third person you was reading about today, the third question but anyhow, it said that the person applied for work permit 3 times, I think, right, and was denied, right? So that was so mind-boggling to me, because how do you apply for a work permit 3 times without never being deported, right? So there's so much other, and then the statement which you are reading from, right, is obvious that it's not the immigration executives. It's a government arm of the immigration department, because they have 2 conflicting their answers are 2 conflicting. They're not coming together, right? So there's so much discrepancies inside this
statement.
Immigration problem that needs to be addressed. But trust me, and I know you know, and I know Lawayne knows, and we in the Bahamian people knows that nothing is going to happen when it comes to making no change that we would be proud about in this country, right? Because we have leaders would believe in the status quo.
Right.
Let me leave on this.
Yeah.
Now, Dr. Hubert Minnis, he running with that baton, right? But hey, what if Mr. Lincoln Bean didn't bring these things to the Bahamian eyes? What would we have been talking about today, right? And ain't nobody even mentioning that the PLP and the FNM are one, and the 2 of them they play games on the Bahamian people, and now this is the next game they are playing on, because if you see the FNM gets in power then tomorrow, the same thing they're going to do. They was never talking about nothing in this country that is worth talking about or need to be talking about until the young gentleman Lincoln Baird start talking about it. And then nobody even mentioned the fact that this gentleman was the one who brought this to the ear of most Bahamian people, man. This country is, but at the end of the day, we have to keep fighting, because we have to change this country.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
cannot allow for a next generation to even attempt it, because they ain't have a chance. You guys have a nice day.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah. I mean, that's an interesting point. Yeah, if it hadn't been for he thought he was doing something wonderful and honorable, right? At the funeral, but he just opened the biggest can of worms anyone's ever seen. Oh boy. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning. Good morning to both of you.
Hi.
Do you know the term inside trading?
Yes.
Okay. The people from the Point never sent the workers back home. They knew about the Hilton before we knew when it was going to happen and when the work would start. So therefore, they got inside information on the job, and they figured that they'll use the same people that are already here. That's why these people are still here, lingering around. They were waiting for the Point to start, for the Hilton to start. They got inside information what we don't have about projects in Nassau, in the Bahamas. That's what this boils down to, insider trading. You could use a different term, but
a little bit different. But I hear
inside
you.
information. That's what I see. Because I bet you they're the same set of people who are working at the
It's
Point.
a serious claim that we can't prove, but thank you. Okay, I hear you. It's been quite a number of months. It's a long time. So if that's, I don't know. I don't know if that is accurate.
Can you go to the next caller, Dwight? I don't know if I misheard you. There's a lot of missing. You were saying someone thought they were doing something wonderful.
Well, I mean, I think he probably did think that.
Who?
Keith Bell, making these people's day by making them citizens at the funeral, or whatever that was that he did.
Listen,
but it certainly backfired.
I can't go with that because the minute you stand up and you off with what I'm about to do is unorthodox, you ask people not to report.
You're looking for trouble. Yeah.
Right. If you try to do something that you believe to be wonderful, and you got to buffer that with unorthodox and
Don't record.
you asking people and don't record.
That is the cue to record, right? Get out your phone and make sure it's charged
That's
and
not
start.
just a cue to record. If something is supposed to be so wonderful, but you have to ask them not to record, then you shouldn't do it. Because clearly,
I'm so glad you remember all these things today, Laverne, because I mean that just adds
You're
another
welcome.
layer to how warped this whole situation is. Because I think people might have forgotten that was said on the recordings, right? I shouldn't be doing this. Like
So don't tell me you just thought that you were going to do something wonderful. If by your own admission, you shouldn't be doing it. It's unorthodox, and please don't record. In your brain, something should have kicked and say, you know what? Maybe I'll wait.
Wow.
Maybe I'll just wait. Maybe I want
boy.
to tell them to come down to the Department of Immigration tomorrow. Come see me.
And don't say it up on the pulpit. Come down and say it to them in their ear.
And shake their hand.
Okay, so tomorrow come see me.
I'm just saying.
Right.
If you have to preface a good deed with that, don't do it.
Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
I heard the whole conversation with you, Laverne. I thought you were going to push the button and disconnect me.
Okay, let's
by mistake.
I'm so sorry.
No, don't apologize. But yeah, Sparky,
good morning, Bahamians. You know, in this day and time when we hear this famous word made back in the 70s called victimization, it's scary. I believe it's scary for a lot of Bahamians to say what they really want to say, you know. The people voices like mine, everybody know when I open my mouth. And when you say what you have to say, Dwight, the last couple of days I say things on Naughty Show, and I get the most funniest phone calls on my cellular and even at home. Marky, what you doing?
So
what the heck you doing? Why are you doing this? Why? I say, hold on, man, hold on. I tell them, I say, I'm 72 years old. I'm like the rest of the Bahamian people.
All right, but what do you think?
We like to know what's going on in our country now.
What do you think about what's happening with the immigration situation right now?
I see it confuses me because, first of all, like Loftus Roker said, and let me say this to the Bahamian people: when you hear the voice of Loftus Roker, wake up. We should listen. We didn't listen the first time. Now Loftus Roker come from the domino game out by the bridge, and he opened his mouth again. And the same question I asked from the beginning when this thing happened: how did the people get in the Bahamas without anybody knowing? How did they operate in here without identification?
This is maybe what the previous caller said, although we can't...
What I'm saying, is this human trafficking? Did they not... Maybe they did not come on a plane
to
the airport.
Right.
Maybe they came here by a boat.
Okay, Sparky, it's possible, yeah. So, and then, you know, again, we can't confirm what the previous caller said, but maybe they're onto something. Maybe these are folks who have been here from that time. And you saw some of them, the ones who they had ID for, they've been here for months, overstaying. So perhaps, I don't know. Well, hopefully we'll get some answers. You think? What do you think, Laverne? You think we'll get so many questions? And you would think that in that long statement that they would answer the thing about the barbers one time. Just say, by the way, in our investigation that's been going on 4 months longer than we said it would, we've determined that blah, blah, blah is happening with those immigration officers who slapped the barbers.
There's going to be no determination. I don't believe, let me back up. I don't believe there's going to be any determination. I don't believe that is going to go any further than...
I mean, you could say that. Just say it. Well, I mean, hey, no harm, no foul. They weren't working in accordance with their work permits, and they got a slap across the head. Oh, well, we call it even. Say something like that then. It's ridiculous, but at least say that. There's no reason for a week. What was supposed to take a week has dragged on for more than 4 months. But anyway, take this call and we've got to take a break. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight Laverne. Very quickly here. To one of your previous callers, regardless to whether those workers would have been here from the point, that's not here or there. There should still be a record of them being in the country from an immigration standpoint. In fact, some of those workers could even go as far back as Bahamas. because a lot of them from Bahamas transitioned over to the Point, Margaritaville, and perhaps even now to British Colonial Hilton. So, in essence, what I'm saying is, in closing, there's supposed to be a record, and if there's no record in immigration of these persons being here by name, then it means that we have a serious problem with the immigration department. And lastly,
and everyone's known that, though. We've known that for decades.
Yeah, the director of immigration, the letter that was leaked out. Listen, I'll take her story over anything that comes out right now, because basically you're now undermining the authority and the knowledge of this woman who works within the immigration department. In fact, she's a director in the department. Why should I not take her word, her letter, and her utterances and believe other people outside who don't even work directly inside the department? It is ludicrous. So that letter stands.
Okay.
Thanks for taking my call.
Appreciate it. Let's see if we can squeeze in a couple others really quickly. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hi, good morning. Are you there?
Hello?
Hi, good morning, yes.
Morning, hi, Dwight.
Hi, we can hear you.
Morning, hi, Dwight. That's plenty of rain outside.
Oh, boy. Wow, okay.
Yes. Dwight, as the holder of work permit on two occasions, right, I believe that I am knowledge enough to speak on this. On the first instance, I was sent back to my country, and work permit was sent to me through the British High Commission in Nassau, okay, to return to London on two occasions. Right? Now, under previous administration, Dwight, remember there was an immigration minister, right, who had lots of U.S. cash in the closet, okay? Prior to that, he was rejected a bank loan. So under the Westminster system, Dwight, public perception is a big thing. So the PM must address this situation because public perception means everything. And it is a crisis. So obviously they need to address that.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I'll say for now.
Okay. All right. And I'll take this call and then we go. Okay. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? No. Okay, let's take the break. We're going to get to your text messages a little bit later, so stay tuned for that. We're going to take a break and go to the news and be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
When I'm walking down them rocky, narrow dirt roads with a basket of potatoes on my head, oh, don't you worry, I come from down home. That's where the island folks bake their potato bread. They bake it down home, outside in the Dutch oven down home, wrapped in banana leaf down home. My, it tastes so sweet down home.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
Get in gear with an RBC auto loan with up to 100% financing, extended repayment, and low interest rates. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/gear up. Conditions apply.
That's the sound of your car or truck. That's the sound of your horn. Get in gear with an auto loan. RBC makes it easy to get your own.
It's been 35 years since Custom Computers was founded, and we'd like to celebrate that milestone by thanking you, our clients and customers. You've inspired 35 years of expert service and support, partnering with the world's leading brands like HP, Apple, and Microsoft. We take pride in setting the bar for what you expect and deserve from a homegrown Bahamian business. We're here to serve you when you need us, so call 396-1101. Custom Computers, raising the standard since 1987.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and carb body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
Don't let go of your chance to win big with Alive and 700 Wines and Spirits. We've got an exclusive promotion just for you. Purchase 3 or more refreshing Click Rattlers and pair them with our Freedom 12 plan or higher at 700 Wines and Spirits. To enter the contest, simply write your name and phone number on the front of your receipt. Then snap a photo of your receipt and WhatsApp it to 242-805-7511. This promotion ends July 31st, 2023. Terms and conditions apply. Alive. Believe in best.
Are you dreaming of the perfect summer getaway? Apply for a debt consolidation or personal loan to win an airline ticket to Paris, Miami, or New York. Win up to $2,500 in cash and more. For details, call 356-7764 for Nassau, 602-6811 for Freeport, 823-4374 for Abaco.
Total Auto Care on Howard Road offers fast, quality auto maintenance at the very best prices. Tune-ups, oil changes, brakes, suspension, wheel alignments, radiators, water pump replacements, and more. Need quality brand name tires for your vehicle? Tires that'll stand up to these roads? No worries. We supply Michelin, BF Goodrich, Bridgestone, Pirelli, and Toyo. We'll import them fast and install them for you at no extra cost. So when your car needs maintenance or quality tires, we're on Howard Road, just before Burger King. Come see us. Total Auto Care. Call us at 341-6599 or 341-2350. We go everywhere. Shop early at Janae's Chesapeake Road annual back-to-school sale going on now. Get up to 20% off on all school items in stock. Yes, all school items in stock. Shirts, jumpers, skirts, boys' long and short pants, school neckties, PE shorts, and a variety of colors and school monograms. Shop early and don't miss out at Janae's Uniform Center Chesapeake Road's annual back-to-school sale going on now. Remember, we go everywhere. Beat the rush and save, save, save at Janae's annual sale now.
We're gonna give you a check every week for a year. Percy's pension plan, Island Game, keep you winning. Percy's pension plan, dream big, we will help you live it. Percy's pension plan, Island Game, we got you. Percy's pension plan, from the friends you can trust. If winning is a must, come play the game you know, cause your best chance is with us. The most trustworthy name is Percy's Island Game. So put 20 on your account and ride this easy train at Percy's Island Game.
Summer your way with Scotiabank. Apply for a Scotia Plan loan this summer and open the doors to your dream destination, the perfect home renovation, or prep for back to school, and so much more. Enjoy competitive rates, flexible loan terms, and no payments for up to 2 months. Use your plan loan to unlock your perfect summer break. Apply for your Scotia Plan loan today and have summer your way with Scotiabank. Visit bs.scotiabank.com or call 242-356-1697 for further details.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, July 27th, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner, and we're going to continue with this immigration discussion that we've been having all morning, getting your reaction to the just a plethora of statements flying around yesterday. And yet we still, as Laverne said earlier in the show, have probably more questions than concrete answers. at this time. We want to get your reaction to all of it and to what you're hearing from former Prime Minister Dr. Menace, who says if Bell doesn't retire before the House meets, he's going to have to reveal some more information. But he's hoping he will do the honorable thing and go, or be fired by the Prime Minister at least, before this is all exposed. Where do you make of all of that? All right, so call and continue to call in 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, toll free 242-300-5720, or text us 422-4796. Tweet us as well. We're still calling them tweets, yes? Or X's. That's hilarious. What are we going to do? Should we get off of Twitter? What do you think? It's getting crazy. Anyway, I like Twitter, though. Pre-Elon. But yeah, let's see. I haven't read many of your text messages. Let's get to these. We've got a lot of these. This person says here, it seems like there is something between... All right. Something going on between Bell and the Deputy Prime Minister. Bell talked bad about the new port, but then the Deputy Prime Minister praised it. Now this. Who's speaking the truth? Good cop, bad cop, maybe? I don't know what's going on, but it's annoying. It's annoying. I don't know, Laverne, can you think of any other terms to use to describe what's going on here? This is very strange.
Not anything I could use on the radio.
Oh, boy. Right. Okay. Good morning to both of you. Can you tell us if the FOI Act is passed? Section 47 clearly expresses that whistleblowers are protected under certain conditions. So I'm curious about why we don't see more leaked documents. Okay. Obvious. Are you serious about that part there? Really? You're curious? Okay. You know why. Okay. Hey, obvious crimes documented could be sent to Crime Stoppers or trusted organizations, but the point is the same Bahamians witnessing officials doing wrong have a way to ensure the public knows. Leak the papers from both corrupt parties. Yeah, I guess. Often, yeah, I mean, we could speculate on the reasons, but I mean, you see what happens. The parties like to fill these organizations up with their people. So the people seeing the stuff are their people, and you want to keep your job, you will likely keep your mouth shut. And then they move the people who were there before, like directors end up being head of custodial services. And so, until the other folks get back and put you back as director. It's a wonderful merry-go-round. The Prime Minister and the text message, folks. The Prime Minister and former Prime Minister are jokers. Menace couldn't touch Wells, and Brave can't touch Bell. Animal Farm all over again. This one says, I believe what BPL CEO had to say. Successive governments continue to play politics with BEC/BPL. Okay, so people are believing what the CEO had to say and not what the PM had to say on the rotten BPL. What are you thinking about that, Laverne? You got an opinion on that part there? What do you think's going on there? Who's speaking the truth, or are we going to find out it's a technical term? They're running, but not really working the way they should because of...
I believe the gentleman who was on this show.
Yeah? Okay. This one says here, the smell is indeed rotten, but it's rotten under this administration, meaning the Prime Minister. We are not into his excuses. Yikes. Dwight Anton will call in just a few minutes to clear up everything about the Wärtsilä engines. I bet. This is about the... I'll need to stop. This is about the thing we read about the car, the guy who received the stolen car. I don't think it's fair because he wouldn't know that the car was stolen. Okay. Yeah, okay. Isn't the...
when didn't part of the story said he was instructed to go and wait for the car by the gas station across from the... Anyway, maybe I'm listening to too much.
He said that he was told to wait at the gas station next door while the car was retrieved. Yeah. I mean, so let's stop pretending, right? I mean, come on. Everybody stop. Your bumper's stolen and your boy comes with a replacement bumper that is yellow, already painted. Like, what do you think's happening here? You think they are selling painted bumpers at legitimate stores now? You think that's what's going on? Oh, I didn't know it was stolen. My boy just brought a bumper. Stop it. Anyway, isn't the law in place that the work permit application is to be processed while the applicant is in his country of domicile? Now, Bell saying that the Chinese workers were here, but their applications were not completed as yet. That's what the ministry statement is suggesting. Mm-hmm. But don't forget the key point, right? The tourism product is our God, and we have to do everything we can to make sure that everything is done so that these projects can get off the ground. That is the key point. Right? This text, my girlfriend has a student permit, and she was 18 years old when her family of 6 was made to pay $4,000 last year coming out of the pandemic with no mitigation. Student permits are $2,000 per year, and it is illegal for her to work. $2,000? Whoa. $2,000. Good Lord. Wow. Okay, $2,000. Wow. I have a bridge overlooking a lake for sale. To anyone who believes that any of this is not intentional, call me when we get serious. Okay. This one says that they came to the country on a submarine ship at the hotel. Well, I am not surprised about these slack excuses for things not being on file or whatever other lame excuses they have. My job requires me to correspond with them almost daily, and the people answering the phones have some of the stinkiest attitudes in the government service. Stinkiest. I like it. They hang up on you and talk smack about you in the background, lose your documents, and there's no accountability. I mean, they wouldn't even put you on hold. They just talk about you right there. Put the phone down so you can hear it. Whoa. Rotten from the top to the bottom, other than a few exceptions. My goodness, that is awful. That's that. Normally, the average payment would say stinkest, right? But stinkiest really, really makes it seem very bad. Don't you think so, Laverne? Because stinkest attitude, but stinkiest attitude, whoa. Now, calm down. But, oh, boy.
That's like the talk.
That is really bad. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Laverne.
Hi.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you and say how much I appreciate you for doing an excellent job on Guardian Radio, along with your other colleagues.
Thank you so much.
Okay? And I want you to continue to keep this fire burning, whatever you need to do. Just keep pressure, because guess what? The intention of this government was to kill the media, okay? Mm-hmm. And everybody know that. They wanted to demolish the media, so that they could take that voice to give to the people.
Yep, very true.
Don't allow us to forget what they did, Don't let's move on to no other subject and then something else come up, because it always happens. And I pray also the media or what these people listen to, these news media and stuff like that, who stick these cameras in their face. I hope every day they ask that question, because guess what? I don't listen to House Assembly. Yesterday, I thought I missed something because I was listening. And I thought that happened and I didn't see it, because I know I was looking forward to Wednesday, which was yesterday. I was looking forward to a speech, and that didn't happen. So I'm still trying to figure out what did I miss. Because if you say you're a leader of this country, right, and you're going to explain to us who put you there what took place and you just not show or you didn't say anything, that alone is a disrespect to me. Okay? You should have said something, anything. Or you don't owe us no explanation. That's what you're saying? Well, that's fine. The only person who could keep them accountable and who could keep the pressure is persons like yourself and these other news media. You know, they took over. I pray every day I send a message to Vaughn McCartney. If you're listening to me, sir, please have a change of heart. I know family comes first. But come back, please, man. Okay, come back. Come help us out. You know, we need your help, sir. We really do. Okay? You know who you are. Now, how is it black? Come back, please, man. Clint, let the Lord touch that heart of yours. You know how you was when the F&M was in, how you didn't ease upon them. You know wrong is wrong. You know what's going on. Please, okay? Come back. So again, by saying, Dwight, continue to do an excellent job. I appreciate you. Okay? Have a great day.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate it. Interesting. We'll take another call and then we'll get back to your messages. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, LeBron, Alan Johnson. How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, Dwight. Let me just, the BPL and the immigration issue. First, the immigration issue. You know, this is not like an event that happened like last week, right? I think you made reference of this actually happening in January 17th. On the 18th, first thing in the morning, they had full access to all of the computers. You now have the developers of the hotel that is now entered the picture to simply say that at no given time any of their people was any illegal or anything of that sort, and that they're claiming now that they all had the documentations, that there was nothing to be regularized or corrected or anything of that sort. So now you have a story from government, a story from immigration, a story from the developer, and none of them is in harmony.
Yeah.
And you would clearly have to think the Prime Minister, and I think it's important for us to note that the office of the Prime Minister is the one who gave the orders to stand down on the enforcement of the rules or laws that existed at that particular time. And so it is, and I know we might want to say acting Prime Minister. No, that was the office and the authority of the Prime Minister. And so for now, for the office of the Prime Minister to almost have no understanding and no comprehension 4 months later is very disturbing. Also missing from this equation is the Minister of National Security. He has not made any comments, any clarifications concerning things because he is directly involved concerning how we perceive the safety and security of those individuals within the country, that individuals can move through the country, considering that we have this whole thing about criminals and this is the, what do you call it, isn't he in charge still, he's still in charge of the police and the defense force and everything. And so this is basically an endemic collapse of governance. No matter how you want to think about it, starting from the top down, because it seems like individuals in the very same office have no understanding, no communication, because you would think they would have been in the huddle in cabinet or some meeting to find out, let's find out exactly what happened, let's find out how we can do this, how we can solve this, what exactly happened, because this is not something that you have to create a solution to. Supposedly, solution has happened. If the hotel said, oh, by the way, our people were straight, they could have came out and says, we were mistakenly confused and thinking that it needed to be regulated, and according to the records, they showed that they were already on file, they were already done. That has not happened. Something is wrong with that picture.
Yeah.
And so, when you come to BPL, it's like they talk around the problems. You know, it's your fault, your mama fault, your auntie fault, your cousin fault, the blind man, this one, everybody. But it's everybody's fault except for those in governance. Dwight, when you look at both immigration and BPL, except for the leadership that came in as part of these 5-year celebrities, the individuals in these organizations are constant. We got permanent secretaries and other individuals who have not went away for decades. The question then becomes, are we running like different tiers of governance in the country where these individuals over here do what they want, these individuals over here do what they want, and nobody knows what anybody else is doing? We have come to the point of being a failed state, that we have no forms of communications around each other, to each other, and about each other, no records laid out exactly how it is. And ending, Dwight, do you notice in the paper today, the U.S. government talked about the anti-corruption bill? Well, coming with the anti-corruption bill is this thing about disclosure, which comes to the freedom of information. If the information is secured in the database or computers or anywhere, is done. This is why I've said over and over again, there will never be no freedom of information if you pass some of the most comprehensive law, because the information will never be static in such a point, in such a central location that individuals can have access to it. We are pretending. What we need in this country is 21st century individuals that understand the way information is handled, the way governance is done, and that's not been shown to us from our House of Assembly to this current date.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Yeah. And you think about it. I mean, the immigration officers who were at the hotel, right? How they must be feeling to hear all this. They know exactly what they saw, what they encountered. That only, again, 3 people had any ID, and all of this talk, and hearing the company say this and the ministry say that, and everybody else talking this nonsense around them. It truly must be, like the director said, demoralizing for them to be working in this type of environment. This is going to have ramifications that people are going to regret. This is very unfortunate what's going on. Let's take this call, and we've got to get back to the messages. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight and Miss LeWine, and to your listeners, Papa here.
Hi,
Dwight,
good morning.
You know what's disappointing? The statement or the report from the Prime Minister office or from Mr. Brave Davis, when he talk about breaching the trust, the people, the officials in public service or the people in immigration. I believe they should, I believe Prime Minister Davis, first of all, should fire Keith Bell. I think they should not fool with the director, Ms. Ferguson, in immigration. I think the lady is only doing her job. I don't think they should leave Keith Bell there like that, even if he don't fire Keith Bell. He don't deserve, from what the information being reported from the media, and thank God for the media, he don't deserve to be in cabinet. But if they're going to be shameless and leave him in cabinet, I believe they need to respect the officials in immigration, especially the director, Ms. Ferguson. I believe what they're doing is wrong. I believe Prime Minister Davis is I don't know if he really thinking what they're doing and how they're dealing with people. It's like, it's shameless. It's like they care less what we say, and I tired to keep repeating myself. They just doing what they want to do. I believe the director of immigration, Ms. Ferguson, should be saluted. All whistleblowers, anybody who have a problem, these cabinet ministers come and go. How they could do something like that? Now they're getting ready to talk about who breaching the trust. Mr. Davis, you breach our trust to be in people, because we thought when you come back you would have fired Keith Bell from all this information being reported by our good media, although you all try to gut the media. You breached the trust. You understand? You didn't even have to come back to fire Keith Bell. You should have done fire Keith Bell. All of this is just because y'all is shameless. And Fred Mitchell behind all of this, people talk about them trying to gut and buy out the media when the PLP went. He's a journalist, once a journalist. I would have thought once a journalist, all a journalist. But this is shameless on behalf of Fred Mitchell and the way how they deal with the media and deal with the public, the Bahamian people. This is a national disgrace, Dwight.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Everybody's getting very passionate, Laverne. Okay. More of your messages. This person says here, if Mr. Keith Bell didn't bring any supporting documents to support what he said, then we call it total BS. We want to see proof, and we expected him to lay those documents on the table of the House. Otherwise, we still ask for his resignation. We care less of who did what in the past. We, the public, are asking for transparency and accountability, and that is what we are demanding. As a small businessman with expatriate employees, I've always been told by Bahamas Immigration that they will not process new work permits for a person who is already in this country. So how is it possible for the construction site need these people whom they didn't have permits for to have these people. Yeah. Well, I guess you said it. You're a small businessman. You don't have some big hotel. You're not the right type of person. It seems different rules for different people. We've known that for a long time around here, right? Or you're not connected enough, maybe.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't know the right set of people.
Exactly. You don't have the
You
right number
could
on
know
speed dial.
people, but you have to have the right connection.
Mm-hmm. Because there are probably businesses smaller than yours that have all their foreign workers straight when they're not straight. So there you go. Everyone's asking the same question. How can you be here, but your work permits aren't in order yet? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, that's a serious claim. Texter, I can't read that. Wow. Okay. The statement said that he was in Miami and not Switzerland because it is easier for Bahamas Air to create a post-data check. Oh, my goodness. What now? Anyway, with the Chinese workers, the company executive should not have been able to contact officials directly. That was a good question I heard some other hosts asking yesterday. You know, how did you get to this? How did he get involved in this? How'd that happen? They should have been told to go to the detention center to check on their workers. Too much inappropriate intermingling. Yeah, that is very serious. We just do not know how to create the right boundaries, right, to prevent these types of things from happening, even the appearance of these things from happening, right? Everybody's just too close and loving it. Like, you gotta be. Let me give you, anyway. In regards to BPL, someone is not speaking the truth. Yeah, obviously. Bahamians need honesty and clarity now. Good luck. Imagine us having to endure 3 more years of this nonsense. Call elections now. Well, okay. I mean, okay, but is that really going to solve anything? But we definitely need BPL to come clean, and somebody has to explain that. That's crazy. That's crazy. What is the Prime Minister talking about? More very wild text messages. I am an employee at BPL, and what the CEO of Cambridge said was right. There are 5 machines working at Wartsila, and 2 are not working. Tell the Prime Minister to stop making up stories when he is unable to defend the indefensible. I mean, so you say you're an employee, but I'll take your word for it. Sure. In regards to immigration, the situation is very critical, and the story runs deep. We need truthful answers, and the department needs to be revamped. Finally, the minister does need to be fired. Dwight, can you imagine if Brent Simonette had done this, the country would have been on fire? Yeah, okay. Oh, well, certain people would have been up in arms, I'm sure. I have a suggestion for your morning show. Would you please reach out to a representative from Wartsila, the manufacturers of the generators at Clifton, and have them weigh in on what is being said about the generators and the maintenance of the equipment? Well, only one person is saying something bizarre. Only one person. Everybody else seems to believe they're working fine and that they didn't need to have the Wartsila representatives here because capable Bahamians who work at BPL could do it. So we just need the Prime Minister to talk sense. That's all. But the texter says their business is being maligned. Well, now that's interesting. Again, that comes back to the PM. That comes back to the PM. Let's take this call. Is that caller there? Yeah? And you can continue to call in. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. We'll get to that call in a second. This texter says, I agree with that last caller 100%. Keep up the marvelous work. Oh, okay. Well, thank you very much. Have you heard anything about the VAT exemption on hurricane supplies? We're almost at the end of July and going into the peak of hurricane season, August. Please do a check for us. Did they say they were going to do that? This VAT on everything?
I don't recall hearing anything.
This VAT on everything, government? Did they say? I know the previous ones used to do that, but and on school supplies too, right? Remember?
Right.
I don't recall hearing that that's going to be a thing. We'll check. Yes, we'll check on it. Okay. I'd be very surprised. Very surprised. This person says here, while I emphasize with the Director of Immigration and her subordinates, she, as the leader, should stand up on her statement and put her job on the line on behalf of the Bahamian people. Okay, we don't have anything to indicate that she isn't doing that or hasn't done that. I mean, what are you expecting to see? What are you hoping to see? This person says here, the Prime Minister needs to step down. Whoa. What? Okay. I'm reading this text. I cannot read on the air. Please stop. Please stop. This is Texter. I need you to understand that things don't quite work like that, and there's certain things that advertisers will support and certain things that advertisers will not support. So you'd be, yeah. Have you noticed how Fred Mitchell threatened civil servants against exposing wrongdoing? That was interesting. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Turn on your radio for us, please.
Hey, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Laverne.
Morning.
I'm listening out for you, but you weren't saying much. You were not saying much.
Oh, Laverne said a lot this morning. Laverne said a lot this morning. I think she's.
I was just listening to the text, really.
Okay,
but I did.
I know there's something. I know there's something. But the text that you read just now, Dwight, is what I was going to talk about. If anybody realized the statement that Mr. Mitchell made, it sounds like he's threatening. And see, this is something that used to be a big thing in this country back before the government changed in '92, when you could not speak ill of the party that was in power because your job was gone. Your kids wasn't able to get a proper job in government after that. And it sounds like Fred Mitchell is still holding on to that type of lifestyle where, and it's a tune that we are forgetting. It's a tone of voice that you can tell anybody anything. It's the way you say it. And about BPL, I don't know what the Prime Minister said, but I believe the gentleman that you had on from BPL that talked about the generator, because under the last administration, as bad as it was, and we was home more time than we was out on the road, and our bills was still low. So something had to been working.
No, that has nothing to do with it. I mean, this is the fuel surcharge that's really causing this. And so that has nothing to do with the engines, generators, any of that. This is just
but
fuel.
The Prime Minister is saying that it has everything to do with it. That's what he said. He said the generators was never working and so on and so forth. I know it's a surcharge that pushed the bill up because I saw it on the bill. However, I'm going on what he is saying.
Yeah, well, he just had to find something to blame the FNM for, I guess.
I guess because Minnis threatening Bell, he's trying to use that as a threat against Minnis. I'm guessing. I don't get it. Mm-hmm. Like I said before, we will never get a straight answer from this government. Because I mean, come on, he sat down as deputy under the Christie administration, and look what happened. We never got a straight answer about Bamsey being burnt down and not being the.
Well, no, I mean, I think this time is different. I think we have to stop. This time it's different. I think we have to, not talk about what happened in the past, but this is now possibly two people in director or CEO positions who've said certain things, and a minister has come back and contradicted what they're saying. This is ridiculous. And now everybody in this country who thinks that they should do a public service has to wonder whether this is worth it, because I'm going to come there, put my neck on the chopping block, and I'll say certain things, and then a minister will come and say the complete opposite, and now people will think I'm a liar or incompetent. This is ridiculous.
If you notice that from this government came in, it's like every time someone says something, the prime minister come back and contradict them, or Clint Watson would come back and contradict them, and they have been contradicting each other from the day they got in power.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody remember.
Everybody is remembering this. And this has to stop now. But the Prime Minister's not going to be able to get away with this one. He's going to have to explain himself. He really will have to bring the work logs to prove this. Why did you do this? Yeah, we all know it's rotten at BPL, and we know that the F&M didn't help, and we know that the PLP hasn't helped, and it's back and forth for many administrations. Some would say generations. Everybody has contributed to this mess, including customers. And we know this. But just to get some brownie points to say nonsense 2 days after somebody said something complete, or the day after somebody else said something totally different.
So he's trying to find something that he thinks. See, immigration is a hard point when it comes to Bahamian. That's a serious point when it comes to Bahamian and residents alike in this country. However, BPL is also a hard point. So I think he's trying to find something to take person's mind off what Bell did.
Red herring, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Yeah, but it's it looks bad. It looks bad, and it's not going to go over well. They're gonna lose a lot of good people if they keep this type of stuff up. Right? I mean, this silly company, I'm sorry, I have to say silly, issuing this statement about their reputation, slanderous allegations. Okay, whatever. We've got Bahamians and their characters are being called into question because of cabinet ministers. This is crazy. Let's take a break, and we'll pick up with more of your text messages on all of this when we get back. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
We got some jokey leaders in a jokey town, a three-ring circus, what a bunch of clowns. They joking and they jiving, but they messing around. We got some jokey leaders, what a bunch of clowns.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
There's a new electric vehicle in town, the Jack brand of SUVs, trucks, sedans, and commercial vans, available only at Easy Car Sales, home of the fully electric vehicle. For a powerful, smooth ride at a fraction of the cost to drive, leave the pump behind and hit the road with Jack. Visit easy242.com to see our brand new Jack models and drop into Easy Car Sales for a test drive. It'll have you singing. Hit the road with Jack, and don't you pump gas no more.
Introducing Wendy's new Chimichurri Cheeseburger. Chimichurri. That's how you pronounce it. Let it roll off your tongue. Then get ready for some ridiculously good flavor. Fresh, herby, garlicky, green, chimichurri. It'll feel like a relaxing backyard get-together with friends on a Sunday. Put in a burger. Come meet Wendy's new Chimichurri Cheeseburger with our new Dave's Craft Lemonade. Wendy's, different inside and out.
We're good for you.
My business couldn't survive without my credit card machine from Fidelity.
It's fast, convenient, and my clients love it.
My sales increase, and I can track my earnings.
Get your credit card machine from Fidelity today.
Call 356-7764.
Let me ask you a few questions. What's your name?
Pam.
Favorite food?
Steak.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Is your money safe?
It's under my bed, I guess so.
Are you serious?
Yeah, why?
Unless your money is in a bank or credit union that's a member of the Deposit Insurance Corporation, there's no guarantee it's safe.
Yeah, but what if something happens to the bank?
Your Bahamian dollar deposits are insured up to $50,000, so you'd still be ahead. Plus, your mattress might catch fire. Then what?
Man, those banks and credit unions are looking good right about now.
Visit the DIC's website at www.dic.bs. Protection for your money, guaranteed with DIC.
Indulge in an experience that awakens your senses with Nescafe Gold. Premium Arabica coffee beans, carefully selected, roasted to perfection, and finely ground, resulting in a unique and unmatched flavor and aroma that captivates the senses. Enticing aroma, smooth taste. Elevate your coffee experience with Nescafe Gold.
It is time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. Bahamar has begun the staged demolition of the Melia Nassau Beach Hotel with the hope of eventually creating a new project in its footprint. According to the statement sent to Guardian Business, the demolition would be completed by late summer or early fall. It added that the demolition is being carried out by local workers and is not expected to affect guest experiences at Bahamar. Bahamar President Graham Davis saying in the statement that the resort is looking to creating something new in that space. He says there are higher order an opportunity exists to create a new project that will benefit Nassau and enhance the tourism product. Melia Nassau Beach has been closed since 2020, and Bahamar says they're eagerly looking forward to creating a new vision that will further enhance the Cable Beach area. The Melia closed during the COVID pandemic and was slated to be renovated to the tune of $100 million. Bahamar had instead decided to demolish the structure in favor of something new. In 2018, Bahamar imploded the famous Crystal Palace Hotel, which sat between Bahamar and the Melia. The former site of the Crystal Palace is now Bahamar's Baha Bay Water Park, which Prime Minister Davis, or Graham Davis rather, has said improved Bahamar's profile and heightened the resort complex's appeal to families. And the Securities Commission of the Bahamas relaunching its inaugural D3 Bahamas FinTech Festival, set for October and organized by Finoverse, one of the world's largest and most active FinTech and Web3 communities. The festival was originally to take place in January, but was postponed in the wake of the collapse of the cryptocurrency exchange FTX. And CEO of the 100% Bahamian-owned software company Plato Alpha Design, Keith Roy, applauding the Bahamian government's decision to join in the establishment of the European Union, Latin America, and Caribbean Digital Alliance, calling it a great move for the country. Roy explained that entering the alliance opens the country up to a diverse pool of expertise from EU member countries as well as Latin America and the Caribbean. Overseas, the European Central Bank raising interest rates for the 9th straight time today in its year-long campaign to stamp out painfully high inflation. And it kept the door open to further hikes despite increasing fears of recession. ECB President Christine Lagarde had all but promised the quarter percentage point increase and said the bank's next move would be determined by what the data shows. She said that if there is a pause at the next meeting in September, it would not necessarily be for an extended period of time. Decisions may vary from one meeting to the next. U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell was similarly non-committal about whether rate increases might be coming after the Fed on Wednesday raised its key rate for the 11th time in 17 months. And the European Union saying today it has opened an antitrust investigation into Microsoft over concerns that bundling its Teams messaging and video conferencing app with its Office productivity software gives it an unfair advantage over competitors. The European Commission, the 27-nation bloc's top competition enforcer, said it would carry out its in-depth investigation as a matter of priority. The investigation stems from a complaint filed in 2020 by Slack Technologies, which makes popular workplace messaging software. Slack, owned by business software maker Salesforce, alleged that Microsoft was abusing its market dominance to eliminate competition in violation of EU laws by illegally combining Teams with its Office suite, which includes Word, Excel, and Outlook. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Wednesday, your market movers. AML Foods Limited moving 1,500 shares, closing unchanged at $5. Bank of the Bahamas moving 100, up 30 cents to $4.80. Consolidated Water down 8 cents to $4.02. And Emira Incorporated down, up 1 cent, closing at $10.24. The BISX All Share Index closing at 2,571.08, unchanged. That's your Market Watch. And that is your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations.
We got some jokey leaders in a jokey town. A three-ring circus, what a bunch of clowns. They're joking and they're jiving, but they messing around. We got some jokey leaders, what a bunch of clowns. Hey! What? Come on! Oh, yeah! Watch this! The House of Parliament must see a jokey place.
And we're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. Laverne, you want to say this or no? This is just for me. This message.
Which message?
Okay, never mind. Okay. Sure. All right. This message says, Dwight Laverne, when the government and the opposition keep on tit-tatting each other down, okay, it is almost like folks seeking vengeance for loved ones being gunned down. Okay. If one
I'm
is
missing the correlation.
Yeah,
but
it's
continue.
a bit of a stretch there, Texter. A bit of a stretch. If one is in error, come forth in truth, seek repentance and forgiveness, and get on with the nation's business for the good of all concerned, and stop carrying on like thugs and gangs. Well, okay, that part. Well, sure, I agree. Thugs and gangs, definitely. But the other part, okay. I have one simple question. Well, this is about, I don't want to call the names, but this is about the guy who died, whose wife and kids, yep. Who is he? And that he can give the minister directives and the minister gives into his request while so many people have been waiting years for citizenship. Well, the directives, not quite the right word, maybe, but he's fulfilling the wishes of a dying man. He touched at the minister's heartstrings, and it compelled him to act, it seems, which is within his discretion as the minister, as the law allows.
The minister's personal number, or the minister just answer the phone.
No, he certainly does not. But if the right name's attached, maybe, So, Dwight, thanks again for the opportunity to participate in your dialogue. Again, please read so the Bahamian citizens can know the truth. Oh boy, it's one of these long ones.
Here we go.
The truth. As your callers have stated in the issues, the government leaders have to acknowledge the Bahamas has been failing for 50 years. The first thing to acknowledge is that the Bahamas is an absolute failed state. Oh boy. The online dictionary states emphatically that a failed state is a state that has lost its effective ability to govern its populace. Okay, I don't think we're there. A failed state maintains legal sovereignty but experiences a breakdown in political power. We're not there yet either. Law enforcement and civil society, leading to a state of near anarchy. No, we don't fit those criteria. No, not quite. So a lot of stupidness happens, but not that. None of those things. So, no, I don't think we are. Common characteristics of a failing state include a government unable to tax and police its populace. Not us. Control its territory.
You're doing that well.
Yeah. Oh,
We're
boy.
excelling at that.
Control its territory. Well, I mean, we have illegal immigration, but everybody does. I'm not making excuses, but you're not quite right. You're not quite right, Texter. full political or civil offices. We got tons of people in political and civil offices. They've taken half the private sector. They want everyone to work for the government. So I don't know what you mean. Or maintain its infrastructure. Okay, well, to maintain its infrastructure. But I mean, again, that's a lot of the world. A lot of the world. So one out of the 10 things. When this happens, widespread corruption and criminality, the intervention of state and non-state actors, the appearance of refugees, and the involuntary movement of populations, sharp economic decline, and military intervention, for both within and without the state, are much more likely to occur. Metrics have been developed to describe the level of governance of states. The precise level of government control required to avoid being considered a failed state varies considerably amongst authorities. Furthermore, the declaration that a state has failed is generally controversial and, when made authoritatively, can carry significant geopolitical consequences. Okay, one thing I'll say, Texter, is that if we continue along the path we're on and just talking without really addressing the issues, because these things have happened before, and we know we've had immigration issues going back decades. If we continue like this, the same things over and over and over, it will lead to what you're talking about. We can turn this around. But everybody has to be on board. This is working for a lot of people. This chaos is making a lot of people some money. So everybody is not on board with changing things. Until that happens, we will continue like this. And so we right, there are warning signs all over to press the brakes and do something. But we're not a failed state, not yet. But, yeah. The Prime Minister's statement only made matters worse. Perhaps he, too, should have adhered to Fred Mitchell's advice and remained quiet. First, I was ignorant to the facts, and now I feel dumb after the Prime Minister's statement. Well, I mean, he didn't really say anything. All he says is...
No, he didn't.
No, there'll be a review of immigration procedures.
It was just a blanket statement about reviewing policies and procedures. The only concise thing was just emphasizing that employees... government employees should not be, he was very clear on that.
You're right.
Should not be revealing these kinds of sensitive information.
Yes, yes.
We were clear, we were very clear.
And I think he said that he's all about transparency and integrity and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm.
No, I said the part I wanted to say.
But he did say that stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was very clear about that.
Right. This one says here, I'm waiting on the U.S. Embassy press release. For what? What are you talking about?
Which release?
I don't know what they're saying. Is Keith Bell also responsible for the large number of strange young men who I see walking the streets of Nassau every day now wearing backpacks? Do you know what's happening here? What is that about? Strange men?
You're asking me?
I don't know what they mean. Does anybody know what they mean?
Okay.
I don't know. Strange? How strange?
Dwight, as you're driving, are you noticing that, or are you too consumed with road rage?
Road rage, potholes, and flooded streets. Flooded streets. Did you see the pictures? I know you're in Freeport, but the East Bay Street. Did you see the pictures? It looked like the building was in a river. And this is happening every time it rains. And yet we aren't hearing anybody from any government ministry talk about how, okay, we're working on a plan to resolve this flooding issue.
Is there no drainage there?
Well, I mean, obviously it can't handle what's happening.
The amount of rain.
But it's awful. I mean, it doesn't even seem like it has to be that much rain. It will flood very easily. And the road is horrible as well. But I'm more concerned I guess that caused me not to notice strange men in backpacks. Okay.
I need you to be aware.
Yeah, I guess. Okay. All right. This message, this text here. Well, you all have this a little wrong, though. This is a text. What's the purpose of the Constitution saying you can't hold dual citizenship if immigration can swear in people without them renouncing their current citizenship? It doesn't really say that, and it depends. There's situations where people can. It's not across the board. If you want to become a citizen of the Bahamas and you're a man, there's some different rules, right? But not everybody. If you are entitled to it by birth from other places, right? A lot of people are entitled to, always will be holding dual citizenship. So don't think it means, right? We'll do a show on that again. But different rules for different types of people. So it doesn't say that certain people can't have it. But stay tuned for that show if you've forgotten how that works. Okay, I cannot read that. Dwight, the texter's right. One of those strange guys with a backpack is on Carmichael Road, and he sleeps on the Church of God porch every night. Now, what is going on here?
Wow.
And this one says,
you need to investigate this.
Okay. They have a plan for East Bay Street, but it costs millions. Yeah, who's they? And what does it entail? Funny that the foreign national can reach Mr. Bell, but I, as one of his constituents, can't. Okay. Well, is it surprising, though? Tell the people don't come downtown past Elizabeth Avenue. It's flooded down here. They can't fix these drains. Boy, I tell you, it's definitely bigger than the drains. Bigger than drains. They got a bigger problem. Right? The drains can't handle the amount of water. So something else is going on, and that needs to be addressed quickly. Yeah, it is really bad. So this was in, which is this in? I'm getting a message. This was in the story today from the U.S. Embassy. That texter was asking about that. The U.S. Embassy saying the U.S. Embassy enjoys long-standing cooperative relations with Bahamian law enforcement and is fully confident in the Department of Immigration efforts to enforce local laws.
What's that in reference to?
Okay.
What is that in reference to?
A request made yesterday. But so the texter, I hope you heard that. That was the response. So that doesn't say much, but everybody, it's a diplomatic answer, right? So there you go.
What was that? I'm sorry, I need the backstory.
Yeah, I'm going to try to find out too. Oh, asked about, okay. So they were asked about the Chinese situation. And so that was the response.
Why?
Okay. Hey. Anyway, we're gonna leave that there.
It's a good time for me to log off.
Right, and it's time for us to go off there anyway. But yeah. I'm sure today should be interesting in the House of Assembly. We will definitely keep you posted on all of that. Everybody have a great day. Stay dry. And stay out of the potholes. Okay, yes, because the proximity between the embassy and the hotel. So that's always been a concern. That's what many say. That's why they're moving to the big giant one. So, okay, it's an interesting country. Always a lot happening in this little place. Everybody have a great day. Laverne, thank you so much. Great to have you back with us.
Always a pleasure. You too.
Talk with you again next week. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green. Coming up next.
We got some jokey leaders in a jokey town, a 3-ring circle.